Hey there, James here. In the interest of time, I'm making some rather quickly thrown together videos. I'm going to be doing some more produced ones eventually, but with the Kickstarter being only about a month to 2 months away, I want to make some quick videos, more impromptu, just to kind of explain some of the concepts and processes for getting started with playing Blood, Sweat, and Steel. And today, what I wanted to focus on was creating a character because it's super easy once you get the hang of it. So I just want to kind of walk through everything for you, kind of step by step, and we're going to make a quick character just to show you the process. So the first thing I want to do is we'll show you the primary traits. So in this game, you'll notice there's only 5 primary traits that your character basically is made up of. You've got qualities, attributes, skills, talents, and goals. I'm going to explain all those in the game as we do the process, but just as a quick overview, qualities are basically just a sentence that describes your character in some way. It can be anything, it's free form, it's whatever. It could be strong as an ox, or likes shiny things, or grew up in the Dragonspire Mountains, or anything that tells us a little bit about your character. What qualities are is they're similar to aspects in Fate. They can do a lot more in the game, but when it comes specifically to that comparison, it's a good way to kind of describe the two. So an aspect or a quality works to both benefit and also challenge a character. And the way they work is when a character uses a quality, they're basically using it to their benefit, to get like a +2 to their roll or to get a reroll. There's some other things you can do with a quality, but essentially the player spends a fortune point to access that quality and gain the benefit of either a +2 or a reroll. The GM can tap that same quality to challenge the character, and if the character accepts the challenge, then they earn a fortune point. Interesting thing about fortune points in this game compared to others is that they don't refresh. So once you're out, you're out. If you want more fortune points, you have to earn them, either by your character introducing challenges to your character's qualities and you accepting those challenges, or by you bringing up, creating your own sort of challenge or obstacle for your character, so that you can earn a fortune point. So that's how those work. Attributes are really kind of like ability scores in like D&D and other types of games that kind of touch on your strength, your agility, dexterity, things like that. So they basically work the same way in this game, but they're more simple. Attributes are basically used as very simple skills. So, for example, if you needed to lift a big, heavy boulder, you would make a brawn check, because brawn measures your strength, your physical strength. So they're for very, very basic checks. They're also used kind of like saving throws, so to see how your character reacts to certain things. So, for example, a pit trap opens up beneath your character's feet. The GM may allow for an agility check to see if you've got time to dive to the edge for safety, or grab onto something, or something to otherwise avoid falling into the pit. So they can be used as general skills, or they can also be used as a way to see how your character reacts to certain things. The next thing is skills. That's really the bread and butter of this game system. It's a skill-based system. There's no classes. You've got 18 skills that basically describe the primary things your character can do in the game world that require some level of ability. The next thing is talents. Talents are basically a way to zoom in on a particular skill, on a particular aspect of a skill, and to make that part of the skill even better than the actual skill itself. Kind of similar to feats in earlier versions of D&D, like in 3.5, but they're kind of different. But they're the same kind of thing. You're basically taking a skill or an attribute, and you're kind of zooming in on a particular aspect of that skill and making it even better. And I'll explain that when we create our character sheets. And then goals are basically, that's how you earn experience points in this game. You don't get things for killing monsters and taking their stuff. You actually have goals. But so your adventure hook may have several, a primary goal and several secondary goals. As you complete those goals, your GM will give you experience points that you can spend to add new skills, improve your attributes, add talents, add qualities, things like that. It's a way to evolve your character over time. So those are the primary things. So we're gonna actually make a character in like 15 minutes or less, just using just using the here we go, PDFs, the character sheet here. So let me get to the character sheet, and I'm not sure if this one's been updated or not. It has. Okay, perfect. So this is the basic character sheet here. The first thing I'm going to do is characters start off, and I forgot to mention, there are 3 character templates in the game for how powerful and proficient characters start out as. There's a cub template, which basically is the 0 to hero sort of path where you start really squishy and then you get better and more skilled over time. The adventure template is really good for like one-shot games. Your characters are like movie action hero good, not heroic level, but they're definitely, they can take on pretty much any challenge. And then the legend template is literally you're playing Hercules or Conan or Kull the Conqueror, the Gray Mouse, or whatever, like that level where there's actually been stories written about you or whatever. That's the legendary level. Today, for just doing a quick one shot, we're going to use the adventurer template. So I'm going to keep that over here for quick reference, just so we have something to refer to right here. But on the characters, we're going to use the character sheet to actually make these changes. So the first thing I do is in the adventure template, you start with 3 fortune points. So I'm going to go ahead and mark those and give myself a name. We're going to call this guy Grognar. He's going to be a barbarian, lives in the mountains, kind of basic, but that'll get us through the things. So let's start with our qualities. So if you look at the template on the actual game, you get 5 qualities, 1 of each type. So like I mentioned before, a quality is a descriptive trait that your character has. The way they work is a player can spend a fortune point to access that quality and use it for either a +2 or a reroll. You can also use fortune points to be left for dead. There's other things in the game beyond that, but let's just focus on that. So I'm just going to give him 1 of each type so I can kind of describe them. There's no prerequisite. You don't have to have a certain number of certain types. The reason I created this is you don't want a character with 5 combat focused qualities or 5 stealth based qualities, because then you're not going to be able to use those qualities in a variety of situations. So the type just really helps make sure that you're creating different types of qualities so you have more opportunities to use them in the game. So the first one is a background quality. I'm going to say I grew up in the Bear Clan. I'm going to make a fake clan of barbarians. They're kind of similar to the bears, the warriors in 13th Warrior. But except that they're not cannibals. But they dress like bears. They kind of live like bears. They live in caves. So we're going to say you grew up in the Bear Clan. Boom, done with my background quality. The next one is a complication. Now, a complication quality is something that that challenges your character. Why would you want to have this on your character, you might ask? Well, getting back to what we talked about before, if you run out of fortune points, the only way to earn fortune points is for your GM or for you to offer your character challenges to certain qualities. If they accept those challenges, then you earn a fortune point once you've completed that little side challenge. Generally speaking, this is not something that's going to be campaign breaking or adventure altering or anything like that. Just a minor thing your character will have to go through to earn that fortune point. So a complication quality is good. It could come up in a lot of ways. I'm going to say maybe he likes mead too much. I love mead! Exclamation point. So his character does like to party a little bit, and that can cause problems. Giving you a simple example of how they work in both ways. Let's say that Grognar is trying to impress a local Jarl to ally with them or something. So they're going to have a drinking contest. Well, he loves mead, so that would actually benefit him. So he's going to use that to get a +2 to his drinking roll to see if he can outdrink the Jarl or whatever. So that's where it's a benefit. The GM, however, might look at that I love mead and say, okay, let's see, they're getting ready to raid this compound to kill the cult leader. So they've got this big fancy plan. Gee, wouldn't it be a shame if Grognar went out and tied one on the night before and woke up with a hangover? Which is going to affect the beginning part of maybe things not getting off to such a smooth start. If Grognar accepts this, like, yeah, that's probably something Grognar would do, he's going to get an extra fortune point that he can use later in the game. But he's probably going to have some obstacles in the way. Things aren't going to go quite as smoothly as he wanted to at the beginning of the raid. So there'll be some little complication he'll have to overcome. The GM will figure that out as they go. It's meant to be sort of a you'll know it when it happens kind of a thing. So that's how those can be used in both directions. So the next one is a connection quality. That's your character's connection to a person, place, thing, or event. I'm going to say that my character, since he grew up in the Bear Clan, they live in the mountains, that my home, the Dragon Spire Mountains. Now, this tells us a couple things. It tells us specifically he's going to know that region really well. Probably not going to have to make many checks to know where things are located in the Dragonspire Mountains. Probably don't have to make any checks to get lost in the Dragonspire Mountains. That's going to benefit him that way. It also tells us he's not a civilized guy. He lives up in the mountains. He likes a rough terrain. He's a survivor. It tells us certain things. So we've got 3 of them done. The next one is going to be our personality. Quality. A personality is just something that speaks to your personality. I'm picturing Grognar as a big, loud guy who likes to party but can get really serious real quick. So I'm going to call him a gregarious, dancing bear. So he's generally a big, loud guy in a good mood, but a dancing bear can also rip your face off if you make it angry. So that's a pretty good way to describe that personality. He's a big, gregarious guy. He likes to have a good time. The last one is going to be a profession quality, something he's done to earn his keep, earn a living, whatever. I mentioned he belonged to the Bear Clan, so maybe he was one of their top warriors and raiders. He led raids. So we're going to say a warrior and raid leader. That's what he did. So we know a lot about this character already. We haven't even done his attributes or his skills. So we've got all his qualities ready to go. Again, I just made them up. They can be whatever they want. I use the types so that so they're not all the same kind of thing. They can be used in a variety of circumstances. Now, that's what you want for a good quality. So now the next thing we're going to be doing is our attributes. Now, those are supposed to land on +2 as a total. The default is fair. So the way I do my attributes to go as quickly as possible is I start by setting them all to fair. You'll also notice that in the upper right-hand corner on the character sheet, there is a big 0 there, but to the right of attributes. That's going to keep track of our points so we don't overspend or underspend. Now, we get to be at a +2. I already know that my barbarian is going to be big and tough. That's his big thing. So I'm going to raise his brawn to good and his guts, because that measures your toughness, your resistance to a disease, that type of stuff. I'm going to put those to good. Now you can see I'm at +2. I could just leave this as it is with everything at fair, except for brawn and guts have those, and that would totally work. But I really think my character is going to have a little bit better agility and awareness, so I'm going to need to lower some attributes to raise another. I don't want him to be too dumb, so I'm going to take my points from here. I'll do them one at a time so you can see how this works. So if I lower my will to mediocre, now I can raise my agility to good. I'm still at +2. I'm going to lower it again to poor, bringing that to 1, and now I'm going to raise my awareness to good. I'm pretty good there, but hey, now that I think about it, I really want to be strong. I don't mind if he's not super smart. So now I'm going to lower this one to mediocre, my brains to mediocre, so I can raise this to great. And that is my cap is great. So I've got everything, or actually the cap is superb. So I'm at great there, and I'm still at a +2, so my attributes are set. Now I can move on to skills. As you can see, for our skills, we get 45 skill points. They all start at terrible, and the cap is great. So I can start doing my skills. The way I like to do it is I eliminate the skills I'm not going to use, that I know this character's not going to have anything in. Just it fills up some space on the sheet and lets me know what I have left to work with. So he's not going to be into sorcery, that's for sure. He's not going to be into urban survival. He grew up in the mountains. So we could definitely put that at terrible. And some other things he's probably not going to be awesome at. Let's see. Probably not crafting. He's probably not. He's a raider. He's a warrior. warrior. So we'll put that to poor for now. We might want to have a little bit of ability. Let's just put it to terrible. So those are some of the main ones. I know there's no chance that he's going to have anything in. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put at least to good all the things I know I want him to be really good at, which is going to be like his melee weapons. He's a raider. He's used to like sneaking into doing stuff. He's probably going to be pretty good at brawling. So I'm just going to put that at good for now. I'll put his stealth at good. And his ranged weapons, probably at least, we'll put it good for now. We might want to lower that. But so we've got a few, some good skills in there. He's not going to want to, actually the wild survival is probably going to be good as well. And so everything else, he does have, I'm going to plan on having an animal companion as well for this guy. So let's put this one at good. So you see my 24 points. I'm about halfway on my skills, on my skill points right now. So now I'm going to fill in the gaps with some other things. Now, I put his stealth at good. Let's put his thieving at fair, because he's going to be halfway decent at that. Checking out areas, knowing how to find things, probably fair at that. Not too knowledgeable. I'm going to put that at mediocre. I want to make sure he can at least swim and not drown, so we'll put that at mediocre. Let's say his intimidation is good, because, he likes to be able to intimidate people. He's pretty cunning. He knows how to lie when he needs to. So I've got 3 skills left that don't really matter a lot to my character, and I only got about 4 points left. I do want to have some herbalism, just because it might come in handy to find some things to stabilize if I'm sick or poisoned or something like that. That's going to give me with 2 points, so I'm just going to put my persuasion to poor and my contacts to poor. Now I've got 45 skill points. I've pretty much got everything set. Now I could move these around a little bit more if I wanted to be great at melee weapons instead of just good. Maybe I'll lower my stealth to fair. It doesn't matter if he's super stealthy as long as he's somewhat decent. And I can raise this to great. I'm still at 45. But since I'm going to be creating a talent for this guy, I would rather take that point off of something that doesn't mean as much to me. So I'll take it off investigation. That doesn't really matter a whole lot. And now I can raise this to great. And what did I do? Urban. I still got a point, so I must have moved something. Doesn't matter. And that's why this, like I said, this is where this can come. Because this was good. There we go. So now I'm back at my 45. But as you can see, you just play around the scores. I put terrible for all the ones that I know I'm not going to use. And then I definitely mark the ones I definitely want to use at, like, say, good. Maybe not all peaked out, but, at good, I'll mark 4 or 5 of those. And then see what I have left. And you'll see, once you kind of know what you want to be good at, these fill in pretty quickly. So the next thing would be the talents. Now, we get 3 talents according to the adventurer template. So I'm going to create 3 talents. There are 3 types of talents. There are benefit talents, expertise talents, and focus talents. The most popular are the focus talents. What a focus talent does is it zooms in on a particular skill or attribute to a particular aspect of that skill or attribute, and you're better at the particular thing. Now, I'm going to create an attribute based on fighting with an axe. I want to be better with axes than fighting with any other type of weapon, because that's his preferred weapon. So I'm going to create a focus talent on his melee weapon. So I go down to melee weapons, and I'm going to call it Master of the Axe. And then I'm just going to make a note for myself, +1 when, fighting, if I can type right, with any type of axe. Oh boy, I just can't type under the gun. There we go. Fighting any type of axe. All right, I'll do it there. They like the simplified one. So that's going to give me a +1. So I'm good with, I'm great with any melee weapon. But if I fight with an axe, I'm superb. I'm superb with it, which is one away from legendary. So that's a really big bump. The only thing I want to just quickly point out for people who play a lot of D&D in this game and are playing this game, a +1 in this game is equivalent to about a +4 point something in D&D. It's way different. In the middle, it varies because this is a bell curve distribution game. It's not a flat linear, or what they call linear distribution. So that will change a little bit depending on where you are on the ladder. But generally speaking, a +1 is going to give you almost a +4 in D&D terms. So it's a big deal. So the next one I'm going to create is a benefit talent for this guy. I mentioned before I want to have a bear as a companion. So we're going to do a bear companion named Boo. We'll just call him Boo. This is going to go to our animal mastery or beast mastery skill. And it's a benefit, so it's not giving a bonus, but it means I've got a pet, and he's my buddy, and I can give him limited commands and fight by my side. I could probably even ride him if I wanted to. So this makes this possible by having a benefit talent. It doesn't give me any pluses or anything. It just says, hey, I got this really cool other resource or thing that helps my character that's not a statistical benefit, and that's what my bearer's companion is going to be. Now, let's say I've got one left. Maybe I want to be an expert with a particular type of axe. So I'm going to go ahead and give a fake name of the war axe that my father gave me as a family thing. We're going to say it's called Gonir. Let's just call it, we'll just call it Bone Biter. Bone Biter. And I'm going to put axe from father. And this is going to be for my melee weapon skill. Now, this is an expertise. So what I'm doing, an expertise talent is built on a focus talent. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my focus talent of Master of the Axe, which gives me a +1 when fighting with any type of axe, and I'm making it an expertise. And what that does is that gives me a +2 when using this axe. So now the way it is that this character, when fighting with any type of weapon, is great. He's already amazing. With a sword, with a club, with an axe, with a spear, it doesn't matter. He's great. But when he's fighting with any type of axe, a hand axe, a battle axe, a two-handed axe, any type of axe, he goes up 1. So he goes from great to superb. And when he's fighting with Bone Biter, which is his axe from his father, he is at legendary. So he is a legendary fighter when he fights with that axe. So you know he's going to keep that axe at all costs. And if anything happens to the axe, you can rest assured that's going to be a sub-adventure or a subplot or a side adventure that this character is going to want to go on. Now, the last thing I want to touch on real quick, and this isn't even really that important, like with a one-shot character, but more for campaign, is the goals. So you get one goal in an adventure template. This is something your character wants to achieve. So I'm going to go on the main goal of he's a Bear Clan. Someday he aspires to be the Bear Clan chieftain. So someday I will be Bear Clan chieftain. And that's his main goal. As you can see, this character is pretty much done. If we're gonna do gold, let's say he's got a sack of silver, and the starting adventure character starts out with a good amount of money, which is between 400 and 1,200 silver coins. It's abstract. We don't keep track of every little copper coin in this game. I'll explain that in another video. But essentially, this character is ready to play. He's got all his qualities. They're all different in some way. He's got his attributes all set to +2, skills at 45 points. He's got his 3 talents. This is a playable character, ready to go. We know a ton about him, and that's basically it. And when you're used to making a character in this system, if you've played it a few times, you can make a character probably in less than 10 minutes. There is another life path method for character creation. Some groups prefer to go that route. It's a sort of a step-by-step group effort of creating. You go through certain phases: childhood, adolescence, adulthood. That is a more organic way of creating a character. Some people prefer that. This is a quick and dirty method. I even have an old school method where you roll for your skills and attributes. You get random qualities just to make things a little bit more old school. But this is the primary method. walking through, this should give you a pretty good idea of what these things are, how they get used in the game, and you can see how easy it is to make a character. If you have any questions, just hit me up on Facebook or on YouTube. Otherwise, you are good to go, and game on.